Hello everyone, in this part of natural resources, today we will talk about nitrogen cycle. As we know that nitrogen is the most abundant gas present in the atmosphere, which is almost 78% in the atmosphere. And the different biological compounds in which this nitrogen is present are proteins, nucleic acid, that is DNA and RNA, and vitamins. And the other compounds in which this nitrogen is also present are alkaloids and urea. So in this part we will talk about nitrogen cycle. So let's get started. We are discussing natural resources in which today we will talk about nitrogen cycle. So as I told you, the nitrogen is the most abundant gas in atmosphere. It is almost 78% in atmosphere. And the biological compounds in which this nitrogen is present are it is present in protein, it is present in nucleic acids, and vitamins. And the other compounds in which it is present are alkaloids and urea. I told you nitrogen cycle is the constant flow or circulation of the atmospheric nitrogen from the biotic component to the abiotic component of the biosphere is called nitrogen cycle. And this nitrogen cycle comprises of the 5 steps, and that are nitrogen fixation, nitrogen assimilation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. So first of all, one important thing about this nitrogen is that this nitrogen cannot be directly taken by living organisms. It can only taken by living organisms once it is converted into the nitrogenous compound. So this is the important fact about nitrogen, and this nitrogen can be taken or utilized by living organism only once it is converted into the nitrogenous compound. So this process is called nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation it is the process in which conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound is called nitrogen fixation. Atmospheric nitrogen when converted into nitrogenous compounds is called nitrogen fixation, and this nitrogen compounds can be of 3 types. These are in the form of nitrites, nitrates, and ammonium salt. So these are the 3 forms of nitrogenous compounds by which living organisms can utilize nitrogen. So this nitrogen fixation can be done by three ways, and these are: first is biological fixation, second one is the atmospheric fixation, and third one is the industrial fixation. So let us first discuss the biological fixation. Biological fixation. Root nodules of the leguminous plant contains rhizobium bacteria that fixes atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compounds. This rhizobium bacteria, it converts atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia and this ammonia is further converted into nitrites and then into nitrates. So this formation of nitrite and nitrate takes place by nitrifying bacteria. Once this nitrate is formed, it is absorbed by the soil, and from soil this nitrogen is transferred to the plants. So it is the fixation of nitrogen, that means the formation of nitrogenous compounds by the atmospheric nitrogen with the help of rhizobium bacteria. Now moving ahead, we have second process of nitrogen fixation, and that is atmospheric fixation. So it is the process that takes place by lightning. So when lightning occurs under high temperature and high pressure, nitrogen combines with oxygen to form nitrogen oxides. So under high temperature and high pressure, nitrogen combines with oxygen and forms nitrogen dioxide, and this nitrogen dioxide, when combines with rainwater, it produces nitrous acid and nitric acid. So this nitrous and nitric acid is further broken down into nitrate and nitrite, and then again it is absorbed by the soil, and then this nitrogen is again transferred to the plants. It is the process of nitrogen fixation by lightning. The third way to fix nitrogen is industrial fixation. As the name suggests, industrial fixation. So ammonia is produced in the factories. Ammonia is produced in the factory. When it is converted in the urea is fertilizer. When this urea is converted into NH4 plus, that is ammonium salt. When it is converted in the NH4 plus, then it is absorbed by the soil, and then the nitrogen is transferred to the plants. So only the NH4 ion, that is the ammonium ion, and nitrate, these are the simplest nitrogenous compounds by which living organisms utilize atmospheric nitrogen. After nitrogen fixation, the second process is nitrogen assimilation. The second process of nitrogen cycle is nitrogen assimilation. As I told you, that nitrogen in the form of NO3, that is nitrate, and in the form of ammonium. These are the nitrogenous compounds that are transferred to the plants. So plants absorb this nitrogen compounds and converted these compounds into amino acids, nucleic acids and vitamins. So these are the different compounds that are produced by the help of this nitrogenous compounds. This amino acid then converted into protein, and this protein is important for plants and animals for their growth. This protein is important for the growth of plant and animals. Clear? So nitrogen assimilation is the process in which the nitrogenous compounds that are transferred to the plants converted this nitrogenous compounds into other compounds like amino acid and nucleic acid. That is, this amino acid further converted into protein, and this protein is important for the growth of plant and animals. So this is nitrogen assimilation. Now this protein is taken up by animals. The plants are eaten, the plants are taken up by animals, and now this all these compounds are transferred into the animal. So this is the process of nitrogen assimilation. The next process is ammonification. Ammonification. So animals consume plant and the amino acid or proteins or nucleic acid all are transferred into this animal. The conversion of organic compounds like proteins, nucleic acid, acids of dead and decaying organism. Into the ammonia. So this process is called ammonification. Ammonification is the process of conversion of organic compounds, protein and nucleic acid of dead and decaying organisms into ammonia. So this protein and nucleic acid of dead and decaying organism, when converted into ammonia and NH3, it is called ammonification. And this process can be done by different decomposing bacteria or fungi. The next process is nitrification. Nitrification is the process. So nitrification is the process in which the ammonia is further broken down into nitrite and then nitrate is called nitrification. So ammonia is further broken down into nitrites and then into nitrates is called nitrification. This can be done by bacteria Nitrosomonas. This process can be done by bacteria Nitrosomonas, and this can be done by bacteria Nitrobacter. So in the presence of nitrifying bacteria Nitrosomonas, ammonia is converted into nitrite, and in the presence of nitrifying bacteria Nitrobacter, nitrites is converted into nitrates. Now we have the fourth process of nitrogen cycle, that is fifth process. This is the fourth process. Now we have fifth process. That is the denitrification. So let us see what is denitrification. So when nitrate is converted into elemental nitrogen, it is called denitrification. When nitrates is converted into elemental nitrogen or atmospheric nitrogen with the help of bacteria Pseudomonas, it is called denitrification, in which the nitrate is broken down into elemental or atmospheric nitrogen. Elemental nitrogen again goes back to the atmosphere, and thus the percentage of nitrogen remains constant in the atmosphere. Let us understand this by making a nitrogen cycle or diagram, in which it is the nitrogen in atmosphere that is transferred to the plants and when this plant dies, ammonification occurs So this is the nitrogen in atmosphere that is transferred to the plants by the process of nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen is transferred to the plants. These plants are taken up by animals, and when this plant and animal dies, ammonification occurs, in which the nitrogenous compounds that are present in the plant and animals decompose to form ammonia, and this ammonia is further converted into nitrite, and again it is converted into nitrate, and nitrate is further converted into atmospheric nitrogen. So this is the nitrogen cycle, in which the nitrogen is first transferred to the plants through the nitrogen fixation process. This plant, when dies, by the process of ammonification, it produces ammonia. The compounds that are present in the plants is transferred to the animals. Once this animal dies, it is converted into ammonia, and ammonia is further converted into nitrite, and nitrite is converted into nitrates, and this nitrate again in the form of elemental or atmospheric nitrogen goes back in the atmosphere, and thus the cycle completes. So the first step of the nitrogen cycle. The second step comprises of another process of nitrogen fixation, and that is industrial fixation, industrial or atmospheric fixation of nitrogen. So ammonia is formed first, and this ammonia is further broken down into nitrites, and nitrite is converted into nitrates, and after that denitrification occurs, in which the nitrate is further broken down into elemental nitrogen. So this is the nitrogen cycle. So this is all about the nitrogen cycle. In the next episode we will talk about greenhouse gases and global warming. See you then. Goodbye. Thank you.